Hey everybody, and welcome to the Drafting Offers Podcast, the podcast where you get to vote for each episode's draft champ. We're realtors from Southern Ontario, but this is not another real estate podcast. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, catch every episode on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on social at the Drafting Offers Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brad Warner, Scott Morgan, and John Fielding.
And it's happened. Guys, we have a new champ. Pretty close one, but then at the end, last day, we had a bit of a runaway from Brad Warner, who is in your corner. So a big congratulations, week 7 to Brad Warner. You'll see now 2 crowns under his face if you're watching on YouTube. Congratulations. There we go.
Golf clap. There's a little golf clap.
Yeah.
Good.
Location. And you'll see that crown in it with
That's
my, that, I think it was a hot start. I had the first pick, I had one person kind of say some negative stuff about location, but
only
I
one.
take some heat for that.
I take pride in, really knowing those overused ones because that's my bread and butter.
That's your brand too. That's right.
Yeah.
That's your brand.
Warner in your corner is pretty cheesy too. So
Yeah.
There were some rumors that the location is actually one thing that really drew you into the real estate job. Like you really liked that tagline and it got you into real estate. Is that true?
Yeah, sure. Of course. Actually, no, I was always seeing how great of a life Scott lives. That's why I got him the job.
all the vacation you were seeing? Yeah.
I haven't quite got that yet, though.
Yeah, I've never heard a fellow realtor make fun of someone for taking just a normal amount of time off that a human being would take. In fact, I think I take less than a normal human being. Brad's just such a grinder. He just nose to the grindstone, doesn't take the time. Where John and I like to live our lives a little bit as well.
I bring my laptop everywhere, though. I mean, everything I do. The nice thing about this and the job that we have here is that we can kind of market ourselves. And so anything that I do on social media, regardless of what it is, I feel is marketing and I feel like is business related. That's also how I can write off everything. But basically, I don't do anything unless it's got a business purpose. You always do kind of feel like you're working, even though you're not technically like at the desk at the office or with a client or signing papers. Like you're always kind of, if you're not doing all those things, everything else you're doing is marketing yourself to get the business. So you never really feel like you're off, even if you're actually on vacation.
I think a big piece of that is to do with social media. A lot of people get a lot of business from social media, and that's where our clients are seeing us day to day. So when you're posting things other than just real estate, you're posting about your lives. It allows people to get to know you. Hopefully, when you do get that phone call, it's not to be in competition with other agents for a listing or for a buyer. You're able to just walk in and have that warm lead and just hit the ground running.
Your only competition is yourself. I said that to somebody one time, like, oh, all your competition's here. We're at a conference. All your competition's here. Your competitors are here. Get the good look at the competition. And I'm like, all I need to do is look in a mirror. My only competition is myself. You can get out there and you can do the work and you can see the results. And so a lot of the time, your only competition is your own work ethic.
For sure. I think it's easy to get caught up. We all have coworkers and other real estate agents we follow. So you're seeing what's going on. And if you're hitting that slower period of time and you're seeing other people are busier, it's easy to you just got to put the blinders on and focus on yourself and good things happen. So
that's my biggest problem.
There's a motivational little chat right there, right off the get-go. But congratulations, Brad. Let's wrap it up.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I think we're at 5-2 and we're still waiting on Johnny. This is a great conversation to have, but your time is coming.
Sure.
Or is it? I don't know.
Let's say that. Well, we'll see. We're already just assuming that I'm never going to win.
Motivation, John. It is motivation to light a fire so that you put the homework in and come out guns blazing. Today is a new opportunity for you. The next one will be another opportunity. And then there may be, not spoiling, maybe a special guest.
Possibly.
So maybe. We don't know. We don't have anyone lined up.
Don't have many friends either. You have a recommendation. Let us know.
If you're out there and you are interested in being a 4th drafter, maybe reach out. Let us know.
Yeah. Okay, well, in beating me,
having the opportunity to maybe win before John, hit us up on socials. Maybe send us an email to our Gmail. Maybe you'll get the call.
Possibly. Okay. Well, Scott mentioned kind of hitting the ground running earlier, so let's hit the ground running here. And I have a question for you guys. What's going on in the market there in Durham? Is it Is it slow right now? Is that someone calling us?
Is that a lead?
is that a listing?
That's the market calling, and it should we answer or should we not?
So is it August or is it slow? Is the real estate market a little bit slower? What's going on in Durham?
Great question. One that's coming up often. I think, as we all know, stats show August is a slow period of time. People are on vacation. People are off. It's just statistically a slower time. That being said, I think this is a combination of two things. It is that mixed with the 2 rate hikes that we've seen that are coming into play. So you're having some people that are cautious on the sidelines that are waiting. I think it's a combo of both those things. And I don't think there's a true answer until we hit when things would normally be picking up.
When do you think it would pick up?
Well, I think just from what we've seen over the past many years, the first week after the kids go back to school from Labor Day, usually slower. People are finding their routine again. It's usually the week or two after that. So maybe mid-September, and that's usually when things hit the ground running. You get into October, which is usually gangbusters, and even into November. And that's where we spoke a couple podcasts ago about maybe a sweet spot is that end of November, first week of December, get that house sold, long closing, and the world is your oyster. But what are you seeing out your way?
It's August. That's really what I think. If you look at, the amount of listings we have, it's not changing that much week over week, but the showings are certainly gone down week over week. This time in July, like July 16th, that week, we were over like 690 showings in the Hastings area, which probably for you guys seems like nothing. But for our area, it was a decent amount. But this last week, we were all the way down to 340, I think it was. So,
and is that per day or is that
per week? Per week. And I looked up like more of like just Belleville, and it was like 140 or something. Like it's
showings
for
all of listings.
So I just think it's August, guys. Like honestly, I think with the rate increase coming in September, whether it is or is not going to happen, I'm sure. I don't know if you guys have heard anything. Have you heard whether you think there will be or will not be a rate increase? Do we want to pretend we know?
Our in-house mortgage broker just posted on our insider for our entire office. Economy wise, we took a bit of a dip, which was a good thing. And then when it was coming to, I think it was the inflation numbers, it was actually up a bit. So what his prediction was it doesn't look as strong a case as June and July for a rate increase, but that it's not out of the question. So we're not going to pretend we know, but
it's funny because I talked to our, I guess, in-house mortgage broker, one mortgage broker in my office yesterday morning. And she said, oh yeah, it doesn't, like, we got an email saying it doesn't look like there's going to be any rate increase in September. It's just going to hold still. And then literally I was at a showing last night with a mortgage broker who was like, yeah, it looks like there might be a rate increase in September. So, I mean, even like, I don't know. It depends who you talk to. Really.
Yeah. Now, did either of those people have more of an ear to the street, or was it more of an opinion?
I mean, they're both great mortgage brokers. So I don't know. I can't even lean one way or the other. I don't even know. It's like one of those things. I don't believe there will be a rate increase in September, but I don't know that either. So, and I don't think the employment report has came out yet. And it seems like that has a big, factor in it.
Big ticket. So John, you've been doing a lot of showings lately. What are you noticing on the buying end? Because when we're booking showings, we can oftentimes see if there are other showings booked at certain times that we can't get in. So you can kind of get a vibe for showings. How are you seeing it out there?
Wide open. For the most part. Wide
really?
open. I'm looking at condos with a client right now. And we're looking kind of like anywhere within basically a half hour of where she works, kind of as a radius. And that includes a lot of the GTA because she works very, very centrally. But I haven't had a problem getting an appointment. There was one that we looked at that had offers, I believe, next week, and they've already accepted a preemptive offer and sold the unit. I don't know. We didn't think the unit was going to go fast because it wasn't anything special. It was just a concrete box. It was just a condo. And there were other ones for sale in the area. So that one was a little bit strange. But I think somebody really wanted to get into that building for some reason, just because of some of the low maintenance fees. But I don't know. I don't really see. And again, price point wise, like we're talking about around 500,000, which is, for a 600 or a 700 square foot condo, some of the older ones are 800 or 900 square feet. But like for a 1 bedroom or a 1+1 bedroom condo, that's a reasonable price. Like I think that's a reasonable price. I mean, it seems a little bit low. To some people, it might seem very high because we're talking about tiny little condos with $500-600 a month maintenance fees. But that's pretty reasonable. I mean, when I sold I sold my condo in 2017, and it was around that price, and it was about the same kind of thing. So it seems like condos have gone up, and now they're back down to kind of like what I would consider a fair price. But that's just that's the condo market in the GTA. It's just very much supply and demand and what the economy's doing.
It's funny because
500,000.
seeing that number, and then Brad's reaction with just a big smile, and he's like, "You could do some damage out." Brad's
come out our way, and you can have some power. You'd have power with that budget.
Hey, when somebody's looking for something close to work, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, different people have different priorities. If I was looking out there, I would come out and I would certainly see something that was in the $500,000-$600,000 range and be perfectly happy with it. Probably a 2 or 3 bedroom house, in a nice area. It's if you want to be close to where you work because that's your priority and that's where you are in your life, you kind of aren't really you just want to be able to get to it. You want to be able to get there and back. You're not necessarily looking for big backyards, basement, storage, amenities. I mean, you're looking for amenities because you're in a condo, but it's not really seems to be a priority. For me, the same thing. When I got my condo, I bought it in 2010, sold it in 2017. And the whole reason that I wanted it was because I could walk to work, and I did, and it was great. And then, when things changed, it was kind of the suburbs or bust. And so that's where I am right now. But what do you guys think about pools though? Like, are we seeing houses with pools kind of go up, down? Like, I know 2020, everybody wanted a pool, and now it's kind of like, the maintenance is a little high, whatever.
It's nice that you brought this up, John, because this was actually a viewer request. They wanted to have a little information, some chatter on some pool.
You don't say. Well, that's
don't say.
That's
great
good.
that you segued to it.
Idea. I had no idea that anything.
No
like
idea.
That. No idea.
I think it's a great conversation because I know when I was starting, you talk to seasoned agents and they would say, you know what, it's 50-50. 50% of the people that want pools, and the other 50, those are no-goes. I think once we hit COVID and a lot of people were staying home or had the disposable income, the pool market was super sought after. You couldn't get a new pool installed within a year to 2 years. And I think now that what we're seeing is if you get a really nice backyard with a pool, I would say the numbers or percentage has shifted to maybe like 60-40 or even 70-30 in favor of pools.
Yeah.
I do have buyers right now that are looking for a bit of property, but they have a dog. So they looked at a place and were considering an offer on a place with a pool, but they were going to fill it in. So you have to keep in mind too, if you have kids or young kids, especially, or pets that need to be utilizing space, having a backyard that's just landscape and pool might not be for those people, but it's, I wouldn't. And the other question was from that person, does it add value? And that's something where I would say I would never put a pool in to add value to my home. Yeah. You're putting a pool in for your use. Similar to maybe a finished basement. Some subdivisions, maybe you're going to get more because you have that finished basement. So you might want to put it in. But you're putting that finished basement or that pool in for your own use. And then when you go to sell, it's an added value. But I don't think you're getting your money out of what you've spent to put that pool in or to finish your basement.
I disagree. I think the finished basement is much more likely to add value than a pool would ever add value.
Well, would add value, but for the cost of finishing a basement nowadays, I don't think I was chatting with my contractor the other day. You could be putting a basement in for 60 to 100 grand. Are you getting 60 to 100 grand back? Probably not. So if you're looking for
it depends,
what we'll be talking about today, we're going to be talking about pre-listing improvements with our draft. I wouldn't be walking in there saying, how are we going to get the best bang for your buck? Let's finish your basement or let's put a pool in.
It depends if there's a separate entrance to the basement. That's the biggest part, I guess, right? If they're all the calls we get is, hey, can the basement be used as an income suite? That's a constant call that we get right now. So,
but is that finishing your basement or is that adding a suite to your home? Totally different conversation.
Yeah, true.
A nice point, Brad. A nice point.
I can't just agree with everything you say.
Yeah, it'll depend on what comparables are for. I mean, or what comparables sell for. If there's, if you're the only house on the street with a finished basement and your house is listed at $100,000 more than everybody else's, nobody's going to touch your house. They're going to buy the house with the unspoiled basement and they're going to finish it. They're going to spoil it themselves because they want to put nobody wants anybody else to profit. Everybody wants to profit themselves, and which is fine, so that's what they would do. Basement with a secondary entrance is kind of a different, it's a different mentality, right? So If I were to finish my basement, it would be for me so that I have extra living space, and I would put whatever money. But if I'm buying the house to like save as much as I can and to lower my mortgage payment as much as I can, then finishing the basement as a secondary suite and like licensing and registering it and fire protection, all that kind of stuff, that's a totally different buyer mentality, right?
It's apples and oranges comparing, and it depends on the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Is the neighborhood just
Yeah.
a family neighborhood where you're maybe having kids or yourself that you want that finished basement, or is it a lot of maybe smaller bungalows or good footprint bungalows that
Or is it a
that's
big
the
rental
area
neighborhood?
the big rental neighborhood where
With,
where
near
people can get in and
university,
do that. Yeah,
people are looking for those kinds of things, those yearly university rentals for a couple of students. I mean, maybe you finish a basement, but like you'd finish the basement with a separate entrance, right? So you can maximize the amount of money that you're getting from your tenants.
So basement was brought up,
Yeah,
and
the
let's just say basement aside, that probably doesn't add value depending on the circumstances. Pool, I would say you're doing it for yourself, and when it comes time to sell, and no above ground pools, don't do it.
No,
And
no,
if
don't
you
do it
do
all.
have a pool and you come to us and say, what do I have to do before I list it? One of the things we'll tell you is make sure that pool is like shining or crystal clear or whatever you would call a pool. Like it needs
Gleaming.
to be
It's gleaming.
gleaming, whatever the word is we want to use. It needs to be perfect for when we take photos, and it needs to be perfect for all the showings.
You
And
want that to look like an oasis as opposed to
An
a
oasis.
cesspool.
Oasis.
Yeah.
You created
An
your own
oasis.
backyard oasis with your inflatable pink flamingo in the pool and everything, because that's what you got to do. That's what you can't sell a house with a pool without it. I think it's a rule actually now in Whitby specifically. I'm not sure about the rest of the GTA, but I believe you must have an inflatable pink flamingo floating around your pool aimlessly while you photograph it. I think it's
Or
a
a-
rule.
Or a big
Yeah.
donut. What about a big donut?
I've seen some realtors hop
donut's the
on those
best.
inflatables too.
Or jump into the pool during that
With your
reel.
clothes
Yeah.
on?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
with
yeah.
your suit on and everything? Oh,
just
the
happen to be
marketing.
wearing the suit that day as well. But we've been
There's-
talking a lot about listing homes, and I'm sure we get a lot of people that when we're meeting, they're asking, "What should I do?" So I think that can segue us to this week's draft of the best pre-listing home improvements to do before selling your home.
Before selling.
We're not talking about like spending a ton, like we're talking about like the best return on investment, basically, right? Like we're not
These
talking
are-
about like, because it's obvious to go and if you have unlimited money and I come in and go, oh, redo your whole kitchen, like that's not what we're talking about.
No, these
Or
are
no.
things that a seller can do themselves to get
Yeah.
their place ready to list before we come in, or maybe some of our recommendations as professionals in this industry.
What are the best pre-listing almost suggestions that you
Yeah.
can give to get the most impact or bang for your buck to get
Yeah.
the best results for it's not going in saying renovate your entire kitchen.
Yeah, that's
don't
what I
wanna
just
spoil-
wanted to be clear.
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
spoil it's really you're just saying what are the best renovations.
Yeah.
Yep.
But so I'm going to share my screen here because we need to see who's picking where. Wheel of
Let's get
names.
this wheel up and see who's on there. I'm pretty sure.
Looking at
Wait a sec. Oh, no,
Brad
never mind. Brad's on
into
this place.
John.
Is it gonna be
John
me?
you're choosing the order again.
Oh.
Okay.
Congrats, John.
I'm gonna go first, and I'm only gonna go. I'm gonna go first just because.
You
There's
don't
no
feel
reason.
like you don't feel like there's a 1-1 in this draft. There's no location, or
There's
selling
gonna be
sunset.
There's going to be some pretty obvious things, I think, but I think if I get one of the obvious things, then I might have a chance
Right.
at actually winning this week. So I'm going to go first. Scott's going to go second, and Brad's going to go third.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Can I throw out my first
about
pick?
as ready as we're gonna be?
Yeah, I
I'm
think
very
so.
excited to hear why you would go first. What's the one that John deems to be so important?
It's
that he's
the
gotta go
easiest.
first?
It's one of the easiest and one of the most cost-effective things you can possibly do. And the value, your return on your investment, I think, is probably the highest you can possibly get of anything. And it's simply paint. It's painting your inside. Basically, painting the inside of the house. Fresh coat of paint is in a nice neutral color. You can go with kind of the grays. If you look at what's trending right now, you've got the grays, the warm grays, some kind of taupes, maybe even a couple of yellows because it's like a happy color. But I wouldn't
John?
paint my whole house yellow.
Would you say those are the trending colors right now?
Do you think they're the trending colors right now?
It went for a big whitewash for the last like year to 2 years, like whites
think-
and off whites. No,
My whole house is white. because that was the trending color. It's black and white. That's just kind of what
Black
I
and white.
what I
When
go
that
for.
farmhouse chic what came into effect,
Black
it
and
was
white.
big
So-
black and white. So
I love it, but I mean, I think you would pay, if you can paint white. Hey, if you want to go completely neutral, like just tabula rasa, blank canvas, you can go totally white. But I think it's kind of nice to put a little bit of a warm tone, even if it's like a taupe or a warm gray. Coat of paint, first round, first pick.
So painting, I'm gonna say
Winning-
walls.
winning
Painting
team.
walls.
Painting the walls.
No, it's a solid
That-
pick.
John, that's the first pick.
That was
that's-
the first
that's-
pick.
That's what needed to be chosen there. You did the right thing. I'm
I
excited
didn't
to
want
see.
to take it though.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what rounds 3 through 5 do for you.
Yeah.
But I really like that pick. I'm a little disappointed. But second pick, it's got to be like the amount of staging consultations I've been in these days. It's a lot of the same conversation. So I generally will say to paint. And then I'll also say, which is brought up every single time, replacing or swapping out light fixtures. So whether it's builder grade light fixtures, whether it's the bathroom vanity where it's just 1, 2, 3, 4 bulbs, changing the light fixtures adds a very drastic change, especially when you've painted from maybe something that would look builder grade, or if something's maybe late 90s, early 2000s, and you're seeing the quote unquote boob lights. Once you get those out, you get something a little more neutral where it doesn't stand out. I think a light fixture swap is something
Yep.
that might be underrated.
Makes a huge difference.
Yep.
Just in photography,
Big
beautiful.
I think I deal with some older houses than you guys probably typically deal with too. And like a lot of rooms, like just to go off of what you're saying here, light fixtures is, you know, if you get into a 60s house, like I live in a 60s house and there's no light fixtures on any of the rooms, right? Like you go into all the bedrooms, there was nothing. And we actually put pot lights throughout our house, and like it's insane the difference that it makes.
Oh, big time. Pot lights for sure. But even getting into, like I was saying, like your bathroom mirrors, just swapping those out. And a lot of the times, so many lights are mismatched. You'll get dining room chandeliers that hang too low and you don't even have a table there anymore.
Then
Or
you
your front
replace the
entry
lights.
light. Like a lot of the times, that front entry is where you spend a lot of your time. So you got to think when we're undoing the lockbox to open the door, you're standing out front. And then when you're taking your shoes off, there's actually a considerable amount of time spent in those locations. So those areas with fixtures, it's kind of important to have them looking nice or matching. So I'll
Yep,
stop
yep.
talking on that.
So
Consistent light bulbs.
speaking of what you just talked about, Scott, with my first pick of the first round, I'm going to take a front door replacement,
Ooh, okay.
a new front door.
That's a good one.
I guess the way that I feel about it is those first 30 seconds during a showing are so vital, and people have a pros and cons list in their head, whether they know it or not. And having a really nice front door where you know that agent is probably going to be messing around with the lockbox and the key, and
Yeah, you're
who
standing
knows?
there for a bit, right?
you're going to stand there and
standing
you're going to see this brand new door. I think that's
I have a rule of thumb for showings. If I go in and I'm struggling to, like, the say the lock oftentimes is installed upside down. So instead of turning it the correct way, you got to turn. Anytime I see that, it's a dog and pony show inside. Or there's little, if you can't work on that little OCD thing for most people, that's just the way it's supposed to go. There are so many weird things that happen.
that is a mental issue
I encourage
for you.
usually
I encourage,
That is a
encourage you,
usually
shot there.
next time you go to you see a banged up door handle or you see a lock that is upside down, look at the rest of the house and you're going to notice there's some other things that they just have no pride of ownership a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So front door replacement, so a complete replacement.
Okay, my next pick, I'm going to go with landscaping. Curb appeal for the front of the house in particular, but landscaping I'm just going to take landscaping in general.
So
Landscaping.
like there's grass, there's stone,
All
there's
of it.
like what, but how can you take all that? You're
Yeah, all of
saying
it.
you need to renovate your entire front of your house. That's what. And
Not-
the whole
I didn't say
outside of the
renovate.
house.
I just said just
So
make
I'd
sure.
like you to narrow that down, or we're getting
Definitely.
we're getting
Yes,
one
I
of
would
these
too.
coming out.
I would too, or I'm pretty much done for this draft. Like, you just like maybe narrow it down just a little bit.
Okay.
Well, you can, hey,
I want
you can say
like
gardening.
the lawn. I want like the lawn groomed properly,
So cut your lawn.
and not just the lawn, but I want the hedges trimmed, no weeds,
So
and
you
the
We just want some
maintenance.
gardening.
Yard landscaping.
yard landscaping. Sure, like I have guys actually who are at the house that's taking photos that they were there this morning at 7 o'clock to do all the landscaping. That's what we called it. And it was just like cutting the grass, weed whacking, hedge trimming, all that stuff needed to be done.
In front of house or back of house?
Do we have to do that too?
Yes.
If I have to choose, I'm going to absolutely 1000% take front of house.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
That was a trick question. No, it wasn't.
So I'll just
All
do
right.
yard. I'll do yard landscape. There you go. Okay,
Yeah,
sweet.
Yard work.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it looks good. You said replace the front door. I think that looks nice. I think a very easy and very cost-effective thing to do is just to paint your front door. And oftentimes
Come
painting the front door and painting the garage, like whether they're matching.
Whoa.
That's it. Oh, shit, I guess I tipped a bit.
Whoa.
You're painting.
What-
You're talking. Oh.
Just go with let's go with your yellow door, brother. Like whatever you want to do, whatever.
The big red door, with
The red door, sure,
I
whatever.
won't say
I've
the
done
other.
it.
So paint front
Where
door.
do you
I
guys
actually
live?
think, and we just spoke to it. The amount of seconds that you're spending when you're standing there, it looks nice when it's painted, and it's very inexpensive. I'm not telling you to go to spend thousands of dollars on replacing your whole front door, because I don't know if that's the best bang for your buck. But painting it is.
Depends on the door.
Ugh. Yeah, it does depend on the door. You got a screen door. You're gonna take the screen door off.
Oh yeah,
lot of screen doors out Brad's way.
I don't think we're gonna be talking about this, but like those storm doors, always take them
Yeah.
off.
Take
Yeah.
them off.
You mentioned
Oh,
that before one time too.
Hate
Yeah.
them.
All
Trying
right.
to bring groceries, or like you're walking in with bags and hoisting that open while you're trying to. Anyways,
Oh, I don't care about
Yeah,
that. You can
I
have it
care
all
about
you
that.
want, but
That's
for the
not-
listing, I take them off. I don't care about your groceries.
well, you're not a very sensitive person. You're just
So
always
you
grinding.
pretty much just copied my pick in the same
No,
friggin'
I
round.
don't think I copied. I just chose the better option,
Oh,
the
come
more
on.
convenient and more durable. Sorry, it would just appeal
Hey,
to
best-
more people to spend less. Anyways, John,
Hey, it's a better return on your investment, right?
Exactly.
Painting versus replacing is always a better return on your investment. If you can get away with painting it, then paint it. If you have to replace it, then replace it.
Well, that's
you
the
can replace
difference.
just the door
That's
lid.
the
in the
difference.
door, yeah, take that out. But if it's a perfectly fine door and you're moving, just paint the thing. It looks
Well,
nice.
that's the difference. Scott lists houses a lot of times that are like 1998 to 20, probably like 2 years old. Those ones probably don't need new doors; they need painting. I list older homes. A new door, you're not going to just paint this old door that's 50 years old. You're going to replace that thing.
Okay,
Probably.
see what the voters say. I'm
We'll
just
see.
working with the area I live and work in.
No. I know. I was
It-
just.
it
I wasn't
dogged me through
saying.
the era of the homes, but
Whatever.
I think it's a better
All right.
choice. That's why I chose it. I thought John might sweep that up because he heard me.
He was
call
never
him.
I
going
got, a
with
sim-
that.
I got a similar kind of pick. Where are we? Can I pick?
Yeah, you get two
it's-
picks.
yeah, 2 picks in a row here. Where are we? What's up? What's
what are
down?
we doing here? My next pick's going to be door handles because we talked about doors so much. Door handles, door
Are we
hardware.
serious? We just went
Door
3
handles.
door picks in a row.
We have 3 door picks in a row: door paint, and door handles. Well, I'm talking about interior doors, not just your exterior doors.
Yeah,
Door
I was going to
handles.
ask you that.
Like that
Everything.
black one. Like that
Like
black
this.
one behind your
That black one
Yeah.
right behind my head. This one right here. So they were all the nickel, like with the little curve, the little kind of like whoosh, the little curve thing. So I replaced them all with black, front door, back door, everything. All the locks are all just nice, kind of matte black, everything. It just because again, my house was white, so I replaced it with black stuff, and now I've got black and white, and I really like black and white. Black is one of those things like we've gone through trends with door handles and hardware and things like that. I'm not gonna mention that one, but we've gone through lots of trends, and sometimes people go from black to brushed gold. Brushed brass is another one. The rose gold that's coming into. But I think matte black is really just classic. It
It's
looks
timeless,
modern,
yeah.
and I think it just looks a little more upscale than the nickel or the brass. The round handles, that kind of stuff.
John, are you a knob guy or are you a handle? pull down?
What did you say about him?
I'm a handle guy. I'm that.
The
Not a
handles
knob
look
guy.
nice. Once you have a kid or a dog that can jump up, like our dog opens doors now, so they're not convenient in that sense, but they look nice. But John, that's a great pick. I think when you go into a house, you can tell that late 80s, early 90s, almost into the early 2000s when you see those like not nice gold handles, and it just dates it. So to make that swap, I think adds a ton of value for a very, very minor change, but good
big
pick.
pick.
Another one for you coming up here. Third round, first pick.
Number two. Pick number 2 is
Pick number 3 for you.
Number 3. Oh, sorry, this is third round.
Two in
Pick
a
number 3.
row, yeah, for you. Because you started with painting the walls, remember?
We talked about, you just mentioned dogs a little bit, and I'm just gonna, my thing is just the smell, the dog smell, because I think about that, and cat smell. My pick is deodorize, get the smell out. That's all you got to do. Just the smell. Again, first impressions, they really, really matter. So if you walk up to a front door and it's beautiful and it looks like it's just been replaced, and a door kind of like has that nice little thunk sound, like it just, everything is perfect. All your senses are clicking and everything is going, and you walk inside and it just smells like cat pee, and you're like, nope, not the house. Now that seller has spent all this time and money on making those things, but hasn't bothered to actually like think about this sense, because that's a big one. If it stinks, I'm out. That's all. If it stinks, I'm out of there.
It's such a fine line too. I have one of those deodorizer like ozone things.
Yeah.
I have one of those that I use on listings. It's such a fine line too, because you don't want it to smell like that either.
What does that mean? Is it better than smoke? Is it like
yeah, obviously.
better than cigarette smoke? Maybe, yeah.
Sometimes that overwhelming smell though is people are saying, what are you trying to cover up? Whether, especially if it's in a basement, like is it moldy? But have you seen the things? It's basic. I don't know if this is what you were just talking about. It's basically a jar that you fill with like a non-smell liquid, and you light the top of it, and there's a big rope that goes in. So there's no smell, but all it does is that pulls any smell out of the air. It just lasts for a couple hours. So if you had a day of showings, it could pull.
Yeah, no, mine's like you put like a filter in it, and it's like an actual like machine that's running. Oh, you kind of like put it from room to room, and you shouldn't really live in the house while you're using the thing.
No,
interesting.
Oh, it's actually kind of it's kind of hazardous actually, but they do seem to work more than anything else. I have those air sponges, the same kind of thing. It's a little round, looks like a little round jar with a lid with like a grate on it, and it smells like deodorant or smells like whatever. But it's supposed to suck up all the bad smells, you know. So you put one in the kitchen, you put one kind of where your shoes are and that kind of stuff. So I've got a couple of those, but I think just the smell of the smell of clean house. Is better than any other smell, but laundry. Some people go put a pie in the oven, for showings. Put a pie in the oven for the open house. Bake some cookies. Put a thing of what's that hack that people are doing? You take a tube of that like cookie dough and you stick it in the microwave. And even if you're not making cookies, the house smells like dough. It smells like cookies.
Just get vanilla, put it in some tin foil, foil it in a ball, throw it in the oven, and turn the oven on, and you'll get a nice vanilla smell. Is what I'm told. But
that's a good one. That's a good one. I've
also heard of agents doing in an open house. They'll put a roast in, and the person did roasts and left it for their clients when they got back.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be nice as long as you're not vegetarians. This whole place smells like
or you might get a bad review when you ask for a testimonial, and they're like, just overcooked the hell out of that roast. So lots of different options here. I'm going to stick with the smell kind of thing. So I would say to clean/replace carpet. Whether you're steam cleaning to get them looking prim and proper, or just completely replacing them with carpet, or just take care of your carpets.
Take care of your carpets. Lose the stains. If it's fraying, may want to get rid of some of it, may want to replace some of it. It can be done fairly inexpensively for reasonably good quality Berber and those kinds of like the really stiff carpet, like the high kind of traffic carpet. Not that expensive to do, a couple bucks a square foot. It's the labor is really the biggest thing.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times too, it shows like maybe carpet's not as sought after as it was in the 90s, 2000s, where you're making it either look better or replacing it. And you get the little pinches in there. Like you look at that and it just adds to datedness. You could have a completely renovated place and you see that and you go, why didn't you do it?
Yeah.
So I think that's where I'm leaning.
I had that one. I was hoping to take that one right here.
Good one.
Actually.
You know what makes me feel good? What you just said right there. So I had another one in mind, and I'm happy I didn't take it. All right, Brad.
Okay. All right.
Here.
I'm going to go with a minor kitchen remodel. Minor.
So
new hardware, new faucet.
You got to be specific.
Yeah. Because otherwise,
you just said two different things. One of them was on my list. And landscape your entire yard,
landscape the whole yard,
and then renovate your kitchen.
Do the kitchen inexpensively.
I props you for trying, buddy, but figure it out.
Kitchen.
I got a couple of big ones too.
Kitchen accessories. Kitchen accessory.
What accessories?
What are they?
What image is going on a graphic here?
Hardware. We'll do kitchen hardware.
Kitchen hardware. So that was the one I was deciding. But
that kind of
so
stuff.
That's like. I look at that as like
be included in that. No, we're talking about like
what's hardware?
Door handles.
Cabinets.
Door handles. Door handles. We're gonna call them hardware. Hardware.
My pick.
Hardware, and I'll
I had
have a
this on my
picture
list
of
too.
the-
I had this on my list too, and the way that I worded it was cabinet refinishing with new hardware. That was
That's
just
two
my way.
different
If
things.
Yeah, it's the
you can
same.
have that if you want.
I wanted the hardware and the faucets together.
He wanted those faucets. Now they're hanging out there. You could grab them with your next pick here. You have
I'm
two
not
in a row.
going to. I'm not going to because I want to mix. I'm mixing it up. I'm gonna go with a new garage door.
Okay.
You're
New
just
door.
replacing everything. Like you don't like you working with what you got, eh?
How about this? Fresh garage door.
Oh, you said new.
Fresh. No, let's go with fresh garage
Fresh.
door because
You've
You took
refreshed
your hand
door.
off the puzzle piece. You're
no. It's fresh garage door. That's what I'm going with. Fresh.
Fresh.
Because it can be two different things. It can be painting or it can be a new garage door. It depends what you need.
Or it can be
It's fresh. Fresh garage door.
I'm vetoing that.
I don't. Oh man,
You can't make a pick and then just like change the pick because of something someone said.
I just did.
Because if I just said oh that was a great pick, you wouldn't have said a damn thing.
I wouldn't have vetoed that. I would have just said be more specific.
Yeah,
One.
fresh garage door. Okay.
Fresh garage
Perfect.
So you got a new garage door.
No.
You said.
John did not veto it.
I didn't veto it. I just want
He
you
let
to-
me change it.
I didn't let you change it. I just want.
He just
okay,
said
well,
John, it's up to you. Because I feel like this podcast can be the end of Brad and I's friendship with how he tries to grease into things and just.
Is this going to be my pick? This is my pick.
No, this is
Scott's
you saying if a new garage door or a fresh garage door is going to be the call, and I'll go with whatever you say here, John.
I would have just said refresh the garage door, but that's just my thing. If you think it needs to be replaced, replace it. If you think it needs to be cleaned and painted, clean and paint it. Refresh.
That's what
the
I
garage
want.
door.
That's what I want.
You
That's
just
what I
made it
want.
sound even better for you, Brad. You just
I'm pretty much
okay.
doubled
All
down
right.
into here.
We'll go
I'm
with
trying to get my own
refresh.
win. I'm
We'll
trying
go
to get
with
my first win here. and I'm
refresh the
helping Brian
garage
win.
door.
Okay,
All right.
that works much better in your favor because if you're
It's a
replacing
banger.
garage doors and front doors, you're getting your clients to spend so much money.
May as well just do the kitchen.
Might as well, yeah, and all the landscaping.
All the landscape.
Just burn the place down and rebuild it. Yeah, it's me
You?
here.
Back to you?
Yeah, because that started round 4. I am going to say you're going to put a fresh seal or driveway coat on the driveway. You're gonna have that thing looking.
You're gonna seal
Prim
your
and
You
driveway.
love that. You love that.
You love to
Scott.
spray the driveway.
You
in,
love
in
it.
the in the suburbia area here, I find it really pops for your photos. It is very inexpensive to do. Sometimes your realtors will even do it for you. But seal your driveway.
All right. I like the
Yep.
idea of the sealed driveway. I think that's, again, it's curb appeal, right? Good first impression, makes pictures look nice. When you first drive up or walk up to the house and you see that kind of sprayed driveway, it's like, yep, they really got this place ready. Makes the property look a lot more well kept and a lot more neat from the outside.
And for bang for your buck, inexpensive to do. You see a sealed driveway, you see a nice painted, fresh front door, and that place is already got 2 thumbs up.
Mm-hmm. Now that we've taken I was going to have driveway, I highlighted that right here on my thing. Okay. I'm going to say let's say minor repairs. And when I say minor repairs, I'm talking about making sure all of your appliances work. It's just kind of making sure.
What's
well,
on the
maybe
graphic, John? You got to be. What was on the graphic for this?
Yeah, this is so broad that like
I know it is kind of. I
It
was
could
trying
be
to find
a
way-
piece of trim that needs to be fixed,
Or
and-
maybe think of what are the minor repairs that you feel are the like stand out the most that we could narrow in on.
Okay.
minor repairs to appliances, whatever it is. If you've got a burner that's not working, like I'm thinking about a lot of the houses and stuff that I go in to see, and it's like one of the 4 burners doesn't work. And they just never bother to fix it because they were selling the house, or the dishwasher is as is because you've used nothing but hard water and you've ruined it's all calcified, and you've ruined your dishwasher because you're on a well and you don't have a water softener, which has happened to me. So making sure that your kitchen appliances are all in working order. That's probably I'd say that's more what I was leaning towards. Right?
That
Does
makes
that make
sense.
sense?
And I like
Yeah.
that too. Like there's I probably speak for all of you when you say you see the as is on something like that, you're like, this isn't going to be working. So it already
Include
looks
it,
like
yeah.
a negative, and
It'll
you know there's likely a clause in there that chattels and fixtures will be in good working order. So
Mhm.
you're getting ahead of the game of having things fixed prior and having that conversation prior to listing. So
Yep, exactly.
cool.
You don't have
Minor
to have
appliance
as is on there.
repairs
Minor
for
appliance
John's
repairs.
4th pick. And to finish your draft, John, first pick of the 5th round. Got a
It's
good
gonna
thing
be-
going right now. What's it going to be?
Yeah, it's gonna be windows. Windows cleaning your windows.
Okay, all right. I was
Windows.
wondering if you're like installing
replacing-
new windows.
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
was
go
like, that's
clean windows.
taking a page out of Brad's book.
Yeah.
And I say, but clean windows isn't just kind of Windex on the inside and kind of doing that. Clean windows is doing the outside as well. If you're up high, you get the pole and you extend it, and you kind of you get a window cleaner,
it's
or
so
you do it
true.
yourself. Those are the biggest things, because and some windows are really hard to clean because there's a screen, right? If I'm looking out the window right here in my office, there's glass and then there's a screen, and I have to move the glass. I have to take it out to clean the other side, because otherwise there's a screen there. So doing that deep clean on the windows, and looking at the seals and making sure that they're all in good condition is
you want those
what
things
I think.
gleaming, is what you're saying.
Gleaming windows, gleaming glass, gleaming everything, gleaming pool. I'd say, the deep clean on the windows.
So I like that pick, John. With my last pick, I would like to add a feature wall. So that could be behind your primary bedroom. That could be, usually bedrooms have the best bang for your buck, but oftentimes it might be your feature wall in your family room.
Mm-hmm.
It can be inexpensively done, whether it's board and batten. Shiplap is super popular, super easy to do. Inexpensive, adds a big change to your listing. So I'm going to say
like a
add
feature
feature
wall.
wall.
Good feature wall. Yeah. Not too personal, right? I mean, you don't want to personalize it, make it look like the side of a boat and use all this kind of barn board that you found. But I mean, if it's going to be a classy looking feature wall, maybe just a different paint color and stuff.
Yeah.
It cannot be cheap or personal. Yeah, that's for sure.
You want it just makes, especially in bedrooms, like second, third bedrooms, you can go, whether it's a wallpaper, just something neutral that looks nice. So I don't think there's much to say about that.
Okay.
Brad, let's put this thing to bed.
Last but not least.
All right. I don't know if I'm going to get away with both of these things, but I'm going to do.
You're not.
Upgrade the faucets and the sinks.
The faucets and the sinks?
Yeah, faucets and sinks. They go hand in hand. You'd buy them in the same package sometimes,
Where do you shop? Do you also buy shirts and ties in the same box?
I have. There's no doubt that I have not. I have 1,000% done that.
When you go into the store,
I had to wear a shirt and tie in high school. I was buying them in the box together. I guarantee that. Anyways.
Faucets. I love faucets. I've got a new faucet sitting right here that I haven't.
How about
been able to
update
install yet.
sinks and hardware?
Sinks and faucets.
Sinks and
faucets.
It's got to be faucets, because I'm thinking of like that buyer's dad or stepdad or uncle who's coming with you, and he's turning, or mom. Sorry, mom too, or stepmom, whatever. Yeah. You could be they're going to turn on those faucets during that walkthrough, because they're going to be they're home inspectors, right? So they're going to want to turn on that faucet to make sure it's running, and if that faucet's nice and new, I think people will remember it.
Yeah, they're going to go, ooh, instead of, ugh.
And then you could even get that listing photo with the faucet turned on.
With it turned on, yeah. This house is running water.
Never understood that one. That one,
I do not
the
get
ceiling
that.
fan just pumping. You're like, okay, cool, it works. All right, on to the next one. Well, that does it. Draft room floor. I got a couple here. I'm interested to get some opinions on real quick, but
sure.
I had paint cabinets, because I think kitchen or even your bathroom cabinets, like making that change can really modernize it inexpensively. New countertops is relatively inexpensive, but if you have old laminate ones, like a nice stone looks good. Just purging junk. That's always something that comes up in staging consultations. Adding a little backsplash in the kitchen. Removing popcorn ceiling. What are your thoughts on that?
As long as it doesn't
seem minor.
Doesn't it? It depends
if
on
you're
the house.
prepping already though, like you're already prepping the place. But what did you guys have?
Adding a backsplash in the kitchen if it doesn't have one.
You weren't listening to my draft.
Did you draft that?
You said
just the draft room floors, but I said counters. You said countertops backsplash as well. I was going quickly.
Okay. And then the only really other one I thought that was cool was like adding a smart thermostat instead of an old one.
I actually had Ring doorbell as well, because then you can kind of tell when people have left the showing to come back, if that makes sense. You're not sitting outside for an hour waiting. Yeah.
I would depersonalize, right? Just depersonalize the house, take away like family photos on the walls and things that are in the bedrooms, just depersonalize it, make it very neutral. Let me see. Oh, this is another one. Kind of in addition to windows, it's kind of replacing your heavy, thick curtains with maybe some blinds or something very light, so that it kind of keeps it. You can see through the window. You can see that there's a window there, but it might be kind of obscuring whatever's there if you don't have a good view.
Especially
but
when those windows are clean, you
when
can
they're
show
clean,
off those gleaming
big
windows.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the other one, this is kind of obscure, but I was thinking about just kind of because I'm looking at condos a lot these days. I'm thinking about getting your documentation ready. So, ordering your status certificate, or even if it's a property, getting the survey. If you're buying a multi-res, then you got to have the leases in place. You want to review the leases. Operating budget. If you're buying a multi-res or a business or something, you want to see their operating budget. So having your documentation in place before you go to list, so you can say to your agent, here's all my financials ahead of time, get this done fast. Like, you can save a lot of time doing that. So that's the
and if you have warranties too, like the warranty of the roof, the warranty of the appliances, like all that stuff that you've done recently, like the documents are nice to have.
These are all nice things to do for your listings. I wouldn't say they're pre-list improvements, but they're I completely agree. So let me go over. So team 1, John, paint walls, change interior door handles, deodorize, minor appliance repair, and cleaning all windows. Scott, light fixtures swapped, paint front door, clean/replace carpet, seal your driveway, add feature walls. Brad, front door replacement, yard landscaping, kitchen hardware, refresh garage door, and update sinks and faucets. So I think that wraps it up. Congrats, Brad, on your win on last
I
episode.
thought you meant the upcoming win.
This one?
Mean.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
the upcoming win.
I don't know if you saw the post that came out today, but you got to watch what you say, because it can come back and bite you. But thank you, everyone, for listening. Make sure you get out and vote. The more votes we get, the better this is. And if you're liking this, send us a note and share with friends, because we're happy to do it and we want to keep this thing pumping and rolling. So thanks so much, and good to see you guys.
Like and subscribe. You've been listening to the Drafting Offers Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Drafting Offers Podcast and vote for this week's draft champ. That's also how you can get directly in touch with us if you have any questions about this week's show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and catch every episode on Spotify. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we can't wait for you to join us again for another episode of the Drafting Offers Podcast.